Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of the day it is for you. This is The Den, episode number 13. My name is Steve, aka Bronx, and I'm joined by.
Matt, aka Nemo, guys, we're back. Episode 13. We made it. A kind of a devastating Bears loss. I wasn't here last week, so thanks to Bronx for yapping for a solid 40 minutes. But we are back. We did it. We made it. Another week.
And I'm telling you, that is the most awkward thing to do is to literally stare at yourself on a screen and talk for 35 damn minutes. But we got it done. We punched through it. Basically, everything that I said could go wrong and would go wrong did go wrong. So if you haven't seen episode 12, I basically predicted this loss. But anyways, moving on. How was your weekend?
Oh, it was good. I lost some bets. My bet didn't hit today on the Patriots Jets game. I lost my UFC 307 bets or 306 bets, excuse me. So not a great weekend in that terms, but I am feeling better, and I did do some hanging with some friends. Um, whatever you wanna. Yeah, it was fun. How was your weekend?
Mine was good. So Friday, it was Friday. Friday, actually Thursday, Dom had a football game. Back to back Thursday games for Dom. But Thursday they ended in a tie 0-0 against who the heck did we play? Evanston Catholic. A 0-0 tie. We ran up and down the field for like 140 yards and we just couldn't find a way to get it in the end zone. The one chance we
Excuse me.
did, there was a bit of a fumble into the end zone, which was a touchback. But Dom was all over the place again, man. He's probably one of the smallest kids on the team, and he's our starting left guard.
They still. I
But
was
then
gonna say they
he's
still got him on the line.
yeah, still the left guard, and because he blocks, he's a little bulldog, man. And he's playing defensive end, so he's playing both ways.
Future
Geo,
future Max Crosby. Future
if he
Max Crosby.
grows,
Nah,
if
what
he
about
can
Aaron
grow,
Donald? Aaron Donald wasn't that big, was he?
nah, but he was just
He was a
solid.
he. I mean, he's the greatest DB in fucking NFL history, if you ask me.
DT, defensive tackle.
Close enough. Defensive line. Fuck you. Fuck you.
But but yeah, Geo. Unfortunately, they moved to 1-2. A couple costly turnovers. They lose 14-7 to who did they hell did they play? Team on the south side. St.
Oh,
Lawrence.
oh.
St.
Yeah.
Lawrence.
Yeah.
So Geo
And
lost on
yeah,
Friday 14-7.
we
And
lost
then
in
this week
soccer
they
too
got
to
who
Pats.
Marquette?
No.
No.
ND just
Oh,
in soccer to
varsity
Pats,
did?
which is proof that I was the best graduating class. Sports wise. So didn't lose while I was
but
there.
Yeah, so Notre Dame has Providence this week, Friday, freshman and varsity plays at Providence, and then Saturday Geo plays, the sophomores play at
I
Notre Dame.
never I never understood why they did that. I always think it should be sophomores varsity
It
on
usually is
Fridays
Notre Dame.
as
Notre Dame, if it's a home game, they do it that way.
okay, that's what I thought.
So
Because sometimes
Providence
I hear
and
it both
St.
ways.
Providence and St. Pat's are like the only two schools that really do that. Friday
It's
freshman and then
freshman
varsity.
varsity.
Yeah. But yeah, and then Sunday Dom's got a game against St. Joe's at Montini High School in Lombard. So quite the traveling to be done for the fam this week. But yeah, looking forward to it. Hopefully St. Ed's and Notre Dame come up with a couple wins like
Yeah.
our Bears did not. Uh, but anyways, moving on, our first segment, the game recap. Obviously the Bears lose 19-13. Um, Impressed by the defense. Still a putrid performance.
Offense
Putrid
just
by the
horrible.
offensive line. The offensive line was atrocious once again. They can't seem to figure it out. Caleb was pressured. We'll get to that a little bit later.
Yeah.
But anyways, just sort of like the key moments in the game. that I wanted to touch on. Basically, the main sort of the main reasons that the Bears were in the game, but also why they lost the game. Third and 16 with 50 seconds left in the third quarter. Caleb throws into double coverage to DJ Moore. Tries to throw a little like 50-50 ball. DJ's up there, gets his hands on it, but it's intercepted.
Yeah.
Uh, to me, I'm not mad at that throw really because the safety was a little late getting over. I'm just sort of mad at the placement. If he throws it a little bit further, like a back shoulder, I think DJ snags it no problem. But the fact that he had the defender, he threw it a little bit inside where the defender had a chance to make the play. Uh, yeah, that's just not a good throw on his part. But I can appreciate him wanting to get DJ the ball and giving him an opportunity to get that pass. But once again, Caleb, it comes with time, it comes with experience, it comes with reps. He's going to make that throw more often than he's not. Another play moving on, 2nd and 15 with 12:56 left in the fourth. Caleb escapes a sack. He gets pressured right up the middle. The dude grabs a hold of his shirt, rips off his shirt.
I think he
Uh,
escaped two pressures there. I'm almost positive. I don't know. I think he
rolls
like
out to the
ducked under
right.
one.
Yeah, rolls out to the right and then throws. Now this throw, it's not the Pac-12 anymore. He's not going to
Yeah.
get away with that.
No. Yeah.
I mean, he throws into triple coverage on the run and is intercepted a second time. Um, Yeah, he's going to learn that maybe that's one. Either he's got to put better placement, or he just throws it away, or tries to pick up a few yards on the run.
I was gonna say
Uh,
because if I'm remembering it, he definitely had room in front of him. I mean, it's not like you know Texas
yeah,
was or the Texans were putting a spy on him or anything. I mean, he I think
mm,
he ran with the ball once or twice, but there's a lot of those scenarios where he runs out of the pocket, and as dumb as it sounds, is a great example of this is Aaron Rodgers, where it's like he keeps the defense guessing. Or when you look back, you're like, especially today, right? He does that pump fake shit. You know he's gonna
mm,
run but he still keeps the defense on his toes. Where I think Caleb, when he rolls out like that, his first thought is to pass, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But sometimes I don't think he looks at the field to where he has like 15 yards in front of him wide open, and then he just tries to bomb it down the sideline into triple coverage. I mean, it's like you know.
yeah,
If there was three defenders on one receiver, there's no way there's not a little bit of room in front of him. Is all I'm saying.
right, right. Um, but w- uh, the one play that sort of kept us alive is right immediately following that interception, 1st and goal, 6 minutes left in the fourth. Billings forces a fumble. Um, I think Cam Akers fumbles it on like the 4 yard line, um, just to keep us in the game, keep them off the board again, and make it a one score game. And then obviously 4th and 17 with 30 seconds left in the fourth quarter, uh, Caleb literally throws the ball to nobody.
You know,
Um,
I'm actually intrigued as to what the issue with that was. I don't know if Caleb didn't know the route or if Rome ran the route incorrectly, but even whoever was announcing said exactly what literally we texted about. If Rome, peels back on that and hits the comeback route, I actually think that's a reception. Rome just
and
kept
see,
running forward. I don't know
that's
why.
that's the thing. To me, on that specific play, you got to know where the sticks are. Like yes, you need 17 yards, and it should be a deep route. But if you just come back towards the sticks, like you said, that's a completion all day. And it
Yeah.
looked like that's where Caleb was throwing the ball. And Rome just sort of like threw his arms in the air, like, was that to
Yeah.
me? But yeah, that basically sealed the game. Those to me are like the big key moments throughout that game that A kept us into it and B sealed the deal and sort of was the reason we lost the game. Moving on, our third segment, we just want to dive a little bit into the stats, um, the statistical breakdown. The Bears offense. I'll start with the Bears offense. Caleb Williams, he goes 23 for 37, 174 yards, no touchdowns, two interceptions. Like you said, he ran the ball. He had
Yeah.
5 rushes in the game for 44 yards. So he was our leading passer and our leading rusher. But he was also sacked 7 times.
Yeah.
7 times. He's pressured on 36 of 37 dropbacks. Think about that. 36 times out of his 37 dropbacks, he's got somebody making a move. Unacceptable. Nobody's going to succeed with that amount of pressure. I don't care. Prime Tom Brady is not succeeding
Yeah,
getting
yeah,
pressure
yeah, yeah.
36 times out of 37 throws. But it's just not, it's just sort of good to sort of see him, especially on that first drive where everything was where the first drive is usually the scripted plays, right? They have those first 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 plays scripted out. um, he just looked comfortable, dropped back, got rid of the ball, dropped back, held in the pocket, took a hit, made a few good passes. That's the sort of Caleb that we're expecting. That's the one that we want. The one that just drop back, sit there, get rid of the throw. Um, Funny statistics too. People are saying, Fields' big issue was he held the ball too long. Caleb is in the top 10 in release time
What
with
is it,
like
like
a
2.36?
2.4. It's like 2.4 something. But he's getting rid of the ball when he needs to, he's not holding on to the ball. So 36 out of 37 of those pressures, that's 100% that offensive line. You can't say he's sitting back there and holding the damn ball like Fields did most of the time when he was sacked a bunch of times. It's he's dropping back, he's getting rid of it in under 3 seconds, under 2.5 seconds. Um, so that's not really the issue. We can clearly see, and I said it in the last episode, if this line does not keep him upright, he's A, going to get killed. B, he's going to make a lot of mistakes, which he's already shown that he did. And three, this is only going to stunt his growth. You don't want a quarterback to get jittery feet as a rookie because then he's going to drop back and he's going to be already happy feet back there. He's not going to know what to do. You hate to see him get hit. He's going to be especially for a quarterback early in his career to get blasted. Um, it, I don't want him to be timid. I want him to still have that gunslinger mentality. Maybe not as gunslingerish as Brett Favre or gunslingerish as Jay Cutler, where they don't give a shit and they're just going to throw the ball no matter what. But I still want him to be aggressive. And if he's dropping back knowing he's going to get pressure, his feet are never going to be settled. Um, so yeah, that's sort of just that rushing. Once again, we cannot find a way to get the rushing attack going at all, um, which once again is an offensive line problem. Uh, DeAndre Swift, 14 carries for 18 yards. He also added 4 receptions for 24 yards. Herbert had 2 carries for 3 yards and the lone touchdown of the game and the season so far. Receiving, DJ Moore had 6 receptions for 54 yards. He was targeted the most 10 times. Rome gets on the board for 2 receptions, 33 yards. He was targeted 5 times. DeAndre Carter, 3 receptions, 32 yards. My player to watch, Cole Kmet, had 4 receptions for 27 yards. And then there was obviously a few more stragglers. Those are just the names I wanted to bring up. Because without Keenan Allen, like his safety blanket is no longer there. I was hoping it would be Komet, but obviously he was only thrown to I think he was targeted 6 times, makes 4 receptions. The Texans offense. Now look, this is an explosive offense, and I cannot say enough about our defense about how well they played. CJ Stroud goes 23 for 36, so he completes the same amount of passes as Caleb does. Uh, just at a little higher percentage because he attempted 31 less pass. But he goes for 260, a touchdown, and he's sacked 3 times. Um, CJ Stroud can beat you. I said it in the previous episode. CJ Stroud can beat you. I said we had to find a way to shut down Joe Mixon, and that is exactly what the hell we did and made CJ Stroud beat us. Did he beat us? I wouldn't say that he beat us. I would say we beat ourselves in that game. Um, I wouldn't say the Texans. I mean, they beat us, but our own self-inflicted mistakes were the reason we lost that game. Um, Rushing Cam Akers goes 7 carries, 32 yards. Joe Mixon 9 carries, 25 yards. He was injured. He injured his ankle in that hotly debated hip sweep tackle from T.J. Edwards. Yeah, receiving Nico Collins goes crazy. 8 catches, 135 yards, and a touchdown. Uh, Stephon Diggs, 4 catches, 37 yards. Joe Mixon, 3 catches, 25 yards. Dalton Schultz, 2 receptions for 21 yards. You want to talk about the defense?
Yeah, before we get to the defense, I just want to touch on our offensive line. Like, and we talked about it, in the preseason episodes that there was definitely some holes there, and I think Bill Belichick put it the best. He was on like the Manning brothers like stream or whatever the fuck they got going on, right? The Bears threw all this money at these flashy players on offense, right? Not money, but you know what I mean, like our capital on them, right? Keenan Allen, we drafted Rome, and the offensive line is not a position that even the best players like they're recognized, right? Like a Jason Kelsey. But really, when you look back, when people are talking about Eagles wins or when they won the Super Bowl, they're not saying, wow, Jason Kelsey led them here by protecting, you know, whoever. They're talking about, AJ Brown scored the winning touchdown. And I think the Bears tried to build, you know, like the Sears Tower, and the foundation is like spaghetti. You know what I mean? Like dry spaghetti. There is something about the offensive line that is obviously when we're talking about like this, like it's a no brainer that you need a strong offensive line. But when you really go into the game, it shows how much that can hurt a team, right? And I think without our defense, moving on to the defense, I truly think we lose that game like 40-13. We might
Yeah.
actually lose that game 40-13. Like our defense, we're like the Steelers, except we happen to play a better team the second game than the Steelers did. Right? We our defense carried us to a fucking. We did not score an offensive touchdown in week 1, and we won the game. Right? With that, like our I don't know. I mean, like we have here, like we're a top 10, if not a top 5 defense. I think top 5 right now isn't even an insane thing to say. Um, you know, we had Dexter, Tremaine Edmonds, and Sanborn each had a sack. Billings, like you said, forced a fumble. Edmonds had 11 tackles this game. Without our defense, I don't know where we would be. We said
Oh
in the
yeah.
preseason episodes, if our offense could have like 40% of the production our defense is going to have, we're going to be unstoppable. And unfortunately, we're looking at like a 96-4 right now. 96% defense, 4% offense. Just because we can get the ball, excuse me, into the end zone when we're on the damn 3-yard line with Khalil Herbert doesn't mean shit to me for our offense. And like we were talking about with the Texans, I think we made our offense was so bad we made their defense look good. Um, Daniel Hunter and Will Anderson both had 1.5 sacks. Bro, on Will Anderson's one sack, he literally came screaming off, I think, the right edge, not contested at all, and just fucking plowed Caleb. Pause. But
Yeah.
I don't understand. I mean, seriously, that goes back to our offensive line. We made their defense look way better than. I mean, they had what? Two players with 1.5 sacks, and one, two, three, four, five, six, 7 players with 1 sack. It's like I don't understand. I don't understand. And 2 interceptions from Singley and Lazier or Lazetier. I don't know how to say this. Fuck, I don't care. Seriously, it pisses me off how good we make their defense look because our offense is so bad, or O line specifically.
Yeah, that sack that you're talking about. Darnell Wright just whiffed, and that's something that
But
that you're not used to seeing.
I don't get it though. It was like he was lined up here. We had whoever was our right tackle or
Yeah, right.
whatever. Whoever was like there, and they both. He went to the left. Anderson was literally lined up in front of him, and he just went to the left, like he had a tight end on his side to block for him, or he had a back in the backfield that was supposed to be looking over. Which, granted, I don't even know if any of our running backs are stopping Will Anderson if he's flying at them. The dude's a fucking like truck. I don't understand. I literally was like watching, and I'm like, what the hell is our line doing? Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, the thing about like, and just to touch on your point earlier, about us loading up on like, uh, you know, the skill positions and not really worried about the offensive line. I wouldn't say that. Look, Braxton Jones, I think this is like year 3 or 4 for him. He's a serviceable left tackle. Tevin Jenkins is in a contract year. Coleman Shelton started games for LA and played a lot better than what he's playing for the Bears. Nate Davis, we paid him a lot of money. And Darnell Wright's a first round pick. So, so in theory, right? In theory, they're not supposed to be as bad as how they're playing. Nate Davis barely went through training camp. Tevin Jenkins is now on the injury report with I don't know what injury. Uh, Braxton Jones or yeah, Braxton Jones. Is it Braxton Jones?
Hmm. For
Yes,
what?
yes, because yeah, left tackle because Larry Borum
Oh,
is on IR. But
yeah.
Braxton Jones looks like the 5th or 6th round pick that he is, and Darnell Wright's not playing like a first round pick. My thinking is, and I've sort of heard it throughout the week, was Nate Davis hates playing right tackle or right guard. Tevin Jenkins last year played right guard. Switch them. Put Wright and Jenkins on the same side. Who cares what's on the other side? Caleb, when he drops back, can see that side. Like, oh, not really. That's his blind side. But anyways, like if Nate Davis doesn't like playing right guard, move him to left guard and move Jenkins to right guard. He's already had time last year with Wright, and they can run the ball on that side because Tevin Jenkins' strength is running the ball. Darnell Wright's strength is running the ball. Run the ball to the right side. Um, yeah, I don't know. The lines in shambles right now, and literally, it's not like they can pick somebody off the street to come save them. Bakhtiari's not coming out of
Yeah.
not signing anytime soon. Kelsey's not coming out of retirement. Like there's no help off the street that this team can they have to find it either in house or scheme better or communicate better. I don't know what the problem is. I don't know what's going on. They can't even block a simple stunt. The most basic of rushes that every NFL team runs, they cannot find a way to stop.
Well, yeah, and it's
Sick.
not even like when you look at it, to me personally, it doesn't even look like a skill issue. Like, oh, every time this guy goes for a block, he's getting swerved or he's getting pancaked. Like fundamentally, like you said, they're not doing the right thing. They're not. I don't know if maybe it's on Caleb. That's an insane thing to say, but like he's not seeing things when he's lined up under
Well,
center or whatever you want to say, but
the,
like truly it like we're talking about, we're just not blocking who we're supposed to be blocked. Like I don't get it. It doesn't look like a
yeah,
skill
there's
thing to
no
me, you know?
Yeah, there's a number of clips where people have posted on Twitter where Caleb's literally identifying what he's supposed to identify, sliding the coverages to where he's supposed to be sliding them, and they're still finding a way to just blast through and find a way to get to him. So it's not on Caleb, it's just our execution. And somehow, some way, this offensive line needs to nut the hell up and figure it out. I mean, this is the NFL. Nate Davis is a vet. Jones is a vet. Jenkins is on his contract year, and Wright's coming off of coming into his second year. So Shelton is a vet. Figure it out. Figure it out. But yeah, moving on. Our players to watch. I rolled yours over just from last week because
I
I
was gonna
didn't
say, yeah, because
actually
I
forgot.
wasn't here. I don't even know who I was gonna say, but I'll still go over who we have there.
I actually forgot to text you and ask you. But anyways, I picked Cole Komet. He only had 4 catches, 27 yards on 5 targets. Uh, Average game. I mean, obviously, the 4 catches is good. Like to see a little bit more yards and maybe a touchdown in there, but it's good to see his targets are up from last week. My defensive pick was Kyler Gordon. He had 3 tackles, 1 TFL, and a pass defense. And then yours, obviously, we rolled them over.
Mm.
DeAndre Swift and Montez Sweat. It's
Which
like
I
they
kind of want to make a point about, and I texted this to you. Not I'm not gonna say our offensive play calling is worse than last year. But
it's
sometimes,
still
man,
bad.
it's bad. Sometimes these plays that Waldron is calling, I like shake my head. Like there was at least 4 times where I literally texted you. I think like I'm like Waldron is calling hospital passes for fucking Swift. He would throw an unblocked screen to Swift, and he would just get fucking mangled for like a loss of 3 yards. It's just it's going back to this scheme of where it's like for some reason on like second and longs and like third and mids, like third and fives, third and fours, we think that these screen passes or these weird like outside runs are gonna work, and I just don't understand. I mean, we saw that it does not work for the last 2 damn years. I don't. Our offensive play calling is still a little bit at fault, and I don't want to call out Waldron already because, like we talked about, he comes from that same coaching tree as Getsy, but it's like I don't. We haven't seen him make kind of what I harped on Getsy a lot for was these repeated mistakes where like we see this play does not work, so why the fuck are we running it? For him, I hope we can build off this and be like, okay, maybe throwing unguarded screens to Swift on fucking 2nd and 8 is not a good play. Like,
Yeah. But to be honest, schematically wise, the amount of times that Houston blitzed is a lot more than they normally do. And obviously that they're throwing the kitchen sink at Caleb just to make him make mistakes. But
which he did.
theoretically and schematically, a screen should work in a blitz situation. That's like the ideal time to
Mhm,
call a screen, and they're just not executing them.
mhm,
It's some of it is just disgusting to watch. We haven't gotten to the Getsy point where it's fucking six screen passes in a row, but
yeah.
I mean, he's been calling a lot of them, and they just like we're sick of them seeing him here in Chicago. Like we are screened out.
Mhm, yeah.
Um, but yeah, so, I mean, Montez Sweat's been a no call, no show for the last 2 weeks. I don't know what's going on. He's got like an elbow injury. He's been listed on the last 2 weeks. So I don't know if that's affecting his play, but um, and maybe he's fighting doubles because they didn't trust or they didn't think uh, Daryl Taylor would affect anything. And really, he was another one that didn't really show up at all. Um, so no presence out of that. But Billings and Dexter showed up in the middle, which was awesome. Our linebackers are playing out of this world. Edmonds and Edwards are just incredible. But yeah, moving on, our next segment. I wanted to add this in, and I just wanted to add it just because I feel like, regardless of who it is, which team it is, I wanted to pick out like a player of the game, a standout performer, and hands down, without a doubt, it's got to be Nico Collins. 8 receptions, 135 yards with a touchdown. I mean, he burned Tyreek Stevenson up and down the field all night long, was carrying defenders. I mean, he threw Jalen down in the end zone on his touchdown catch.
Yeah.
Like he was just playing like a man amongst boys. But yeah, it has to go. Our
I
X
would agree.
factor, Nico
Yeah.
Collins.
Bro put up like
Um,
27 on me
which
in fantasy. So
I am in conversations about a sponsor for the player of the game. So we'll see if it actually comes to fruition. But we'll see. Um, but moving forward, our analysis and takeaways of the game. What went wrong? What went wrong, Matt?
Y- you know what we've been harping on. Our offense is playing abysmal. We have some notes here, but this is my take. Offense is playing
Mm,
abysmal, especially offensive line. And when you couple that with Caleb's inexperience and his, I guess, inability to, I don't want to say process, but his ignorance to the fact that he's no longer playing a team that got paid to play them, you know, um,
mhm,
he's making mistakes. And when you couple that with someone who can make mistakes, who's a young quarterback, with putting a quarterback in positions where even a veteran quarterback could make a mistake with the way he's being pressured and the way he's being kind of just getting everything thrown at him is not a good look. And everyone wants to point at Caleb and be like, you should have kept Justin Fields. Well, to be completely honest with you, looking at the facts, if you put Justin Fields here, I think we do. I'm not going to say we do substantially worse, but people are acting like if you took Justin Fields back in there, we would have won the damn game 30 to 19, which I don't think is true. Caleb's getting a lot of hate for what I would say is, you know, 80-20 him. or 80-20 the O line. 20%.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's a young guy making mistakes, but 80% they're not even giving him a fighting chance in a lot of these positions.
I am sick of the Justin Fields fan club bashing this poor kid. Like, all right, let's put it in perspective. Justin Fields, in the same amount of games, has six more passing yards. Six more passing yards. One touchdown, no interceptions. And his teams won both of those games. Same way we won week one, they won. All field goals. Week two, he has one passing touchdown. They have one offensive touchdown. I don't care. That's a far better offensive line that Justin Fields is playing under, and he has six more damn yards. And this is a fifth year vet, or maybe fourth year. I don't know, whatever Justin Fields, fourth or fifth year. Cut it out. Stop it, Justin Fields
Yeah.
fans. Stop it. Yes, should we have maybe used the nine pick to draft a lineman or trade down and get a few extra picks and maybe draft a lineman? But who gives a shit? I like Roman Dunze. I like his game, and he's only going to get better too. And next year, right? Next year we have picks. We can draft offensive linemen. We already drafted one this year, who unfortunately came into camp with a lingering injury from college. So I'm sick of hearing the Justin Fields fan club saying we should have kept Justin and got the haul. But next year you're paying the guy on his fifth year option freaking 20 plus million. And then
Yeah.
you have to pay him Trevor Lawrence money if you want to keep him after that. It just didn't make sense, and it doesn't make sense to keep that guy. So Justin Fields fan club, shut the hell up. But
Yeah,
anyways,
I mean,
um,
and then like I stated earlier, if you're gonna sit here and claim that this both of the Steelers wins have, you could take any fucking QB2 in the damn NFL and put him in, and they're winning that game. The only difference between the Bears being 2-0 now and the Steel or 1-1 and the Steelers being 2-0 is the fact that the Steelers' second game was against a bottom five team again. Like
mhm.
I'm not gonna shit on Justin. I'm not saying I hate him or I hope he does bad, but
I
people are
don't wish
saying that
he was either.
exactly. It boils down to this: people are saying that the Bears' loss is because of Caleb, and the Steelers' wins are because of Justin. Neither of which are true. It's that simple.
Correct. Yep. Yep. Yeah, it just sort of went wrong. Obviously, most people are blaming Caleb, but to us, to me, it's the damn offensive line. It's simple to see. It's obvious for people to see, but they just want to hate Caleb just because of who he is and that stuff. Lessons learned. We need to find a way to get the run game going, whether that's like schematically wise, getting creative, or literally just lining up in the first couple drives and handing the ball off six out of the first 8 or 9 plays. We have to get this run game going, and it's got to be fast. I don't know what we need to do, how we need to do it, but the run game really cannot be abandoned. And especially with Caleb getting as much pressure as he's getting, we need to just give the ball to somebody else. Like just give it to Swift, give Roshan a few touches. I'm tired of seeing Homer back there. He's a special teamer. Leave him on the special teams. He's not a difference maker in the backfield because even he whiffed on a number of blocks, and that's the reason uh, um, he's back there is because he apparently can block on third downs and stuff like that better than Swift. But clearly it showed. And once again, this is not the Pac 12, Caleb. You cannot afford to throw the ball in triple coverage and expect your receivers to come away with it. But that's a learning lesson. He's learning, he's figuring it out. This is game two of his first. Like, if you look at a lot of the greats' first few games, there's some exceptions, obviously, but they put up similar, if not worse, numbers, and they turn out to be Hall of Famers.
I mean,
Like
yeah,
we're
the
we're
one that
we're still
no, you finished.
John
I
Elway.
thought you were done.
John
Yeah,
Elway. There's a number of them. Dan Marino, Steve Young. There's a bunch of lists of like the first 5 games. I saw it on Twitter. There was a whole list of like
yeah.
quarterbacks that had very similar numbers that actually turned the ball over a shit ton more.
Yeah, I
And they
saw
end up being
one
Hall
of
of Famers.
it was ESPN. I saw it on Instagram. Peyton Manning had 2 touchdowns, 6 interceptions,
Mhm.
240 yards. His first two
Hmm.
games, 6 interceptions.
Yeah.
Like, it's I don't know. It's just a matter of
It's,
and I want to bring this up
it's
now that I just thought of it while we're sitting here, kind of off topic, but I didn't. Obviously, I wasn't here for last episode. Velus Jones has to go, right? I mean, they obviously didn't
I
play
think
him this game. I don't know what
I,
if you had any thoughts on it last episode.
yeah, I didn't say much about it. I didn't expect him to be a healthy scratch, but he is, and there's really no use for him now. It's making that Hard Knocks episode where Velas was off, where they were offered a pick for Velas and they don't take it. Look, make polls look a little stupid right now. So I don't know
I
if
don't
they're
know.
holding off
It's
to
it's
just
some
sort of.
kind of experiment. The kid can't catch. And somebody made a good point. I don't know where I saw it, but you know, he's not getting in the game if he's muffing punts in practice, right? So something is changing between practice and the game that in practice they have enough faith in him going into the game to put him in, and then in the
Yeah.
game he muffs it. I don't know if he has the yips or the sun's in his
Mhm.
eyes or some shit, but like I truly the experiment is over. And with our run game being as shitty as it is, there's no point. I guess you could say you could pull out everything, right? Try to do whatever you want. In my eyes, there's no point in even attempting to use him. I mean, he's if I were
Mhm.
them, I'd just trade him. I don't know if anyone's gonna want him, release him, do something with him.
Yeah, I think the ship has sailed on a pick now because of just how you can't field anything, and there's really no use for him. On the field, the running back experiment, obviously with Roshan coming back, wasn't going to happen. So, um, yeah, I wouldn't cut him. I mean, he's on the team. You might as well just be one of those guys that's a healthy scratch every week. It's not like we're paying him an arm and a leg or anything. So
Yeah.
honestly, the only reason he's probably still on this team is because Poles doesn't want to be wrong about a third round pick. But
Hmm.
it is what it is. Um, Season impact of this loss. Literally, it's the second game of the season, and
Yeah.
people are already burning down Hallis Hall. But
That's
just in
Bears
the grand
fans.
scheme of things, yeah, if we cannot continue to block, and Caleb is taking a beating week in and week out, I wrote on here. Not only will it have long-lasting effects on his body, but it's going to have it on his development, which means we may see Bajent at some point this season. Why risk hurting your all-world, supposedly generational talent? Um, why throw them out there to get blasted week in and week out? Like at some point, the line, if anybody else goes down, like they might just be like, "All right, Bajent, it's your turn. Try not to get killed." Uh,
Mm.
who knows? Moving on in the rest of the season, but I don't know. I would like to keep him out of harm's way,
I
and this
think
line.
I think the Bears, kind of going back to what we were talking about and putting in the backup quarterback. For some reason, the Bears always do this shit. I'm looking more to the Mike Glennon bullshit that we did. That was with Trubisky, right?
Yeah.
Where we went. So the Bears to me have always failed. Is they do this half-ass shit where it's like we want a veteran QB to mentor our guy, and Tom Brady made a point in a recent interview that like the game has changed. Right, we're
Mhm.
throwing these young guys out there, expecting them to do something, and like we're talking about, there was a development process, right? Maybe if Caleb is sitting there and is watching a vet QB not throw that pass into triple coverage, maybe he takes a note of that. But we're throwing him out there, to the Wolves. And I think a good example, while people were mad at it, is Atlanta, right? You have Kirk Cousins. Sure, they have him on a fat contract, but he's a vet that still has at least another good year in him, who is a good presence in the locker room, who is going to show Penix how to to be that quarterback role. People are acting
Yeah.
like taking 1 year off your rookie quarterback is really going to kill him. Patrick Mahomes sat for 2 years. The only reason Tom Brady played a damn game is because his starting quarterback had internal bleeding, right? Like it's a matter of like people are overreacting to the fact that like sure, he's no Tom Brady, he's no Patrick Mahomes right now, but his timeline and his excuse me, his outlook and his future or his past, I guess, or how they're setting him up looks nothing like those quarterbacks. So I don't know why people are expecting it to look like that right away. People are acting like they're looking at, season 4 Patrick Mahomes right when he comes into the league. Like
Mhm.
and the Bears have always sucked at that. Is they do that stupid bullshit like the shit with Andy Dalton. We're bringing in a veteran QB to play ahead of our, you know, rookie, and then they play him for 3 games. Realize the veteran QB that they just threw a fucking bag at sucks, and then
Mhm.
put in the rookie, and it doesn't help. That's not the point of it. The point isn't for
Mhm.
some cliche. It's supposed to be to actually help them, and the Bears have always sucked at that. And truly, I think that would benefit, Caleb. But I guess the Bears have had no interest in that. They would rather, get more wide receivers.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair though, drafted number one overall, as touted as he was, it'd be kind of weird to just throw him out there. Like people forget Tom Brady was a what,
Yes,
sixth round pick.
6th or 7th. Yeah.
Um,
Patrick Mahomes was
Mahomes,
110 or
no, Mahomes was a first
112.
round pick.
No, that's not, no, as in like round 1, pick 10, I think.
Oh, I you think he was out of the top 10, but
It
yeah,
was it
and
was sub 15 though. I think it was maybe 13
no, I
then.
think he was. Yeah, I
Oh,
think it was
I'll
like
tell you why. I'll
15.
tell you why I know it's 13 is because the Bears picked what's his face at 10. No, no.
No, they
Yo, yeah,
picked
Bears
Trubisky,
picked Trubisky at 3. Yeah.
so I think maybe he
Oh
was
yeah, yeah.
9
He no, he
because
was he was round 1, pick 10, 2017.
10. Yeah, because the one game that they played at Soldier Field, he counted out how
Yeah.
many picks ahead Mitch Trubisky was. But anyways, yeah, I I wouldn't be upset if they sat Caleb. I don't know that it really, because of who Caleb is and his mentality, I don't think that hurts his confidence at all.
No,
Um,
but that's not
and it
really
might,
what I'm worried about. I'm more worried about his physical understanding of the game. I'm not
yeah,
scared about the confidence. I just, I don't know why the Bears always sucked at that. They do that, like I said, they do that bullshit about we have a veteran QB, but they're not a good starting veteran QB. They're a veteran QB that they can teach Caleb what it's like to fucking travel on the road. They can't teach him what it's like to
yes.
read NFL defense.
Yeah, same thing with Justin. Like Justin was thrown into the Wolves, but I think that was because Andy Dalton didn't he hurt his hand or something, or did
Um,
he
I
was he
don't
that
know.
bad?
I
I didn't
think
think he was that bad.
I'm almost positive we pulled him. I don't know. Maybe he got hurt, but from what I remember, it was like coming. Like he did not have a good start to the year.
No, but yeah, we can move on. Moving on. Looking ahead, our next opponent is obviously Indianapolis, the Indianapolis Colts in Indianapolis. Um, we'll dive more into that uh, on episode 14 coming very soon after this one. But this is a Colts team that's struggling. Anthony Richardson is a second year quarterback, and he's looking like a second year quarterback because he didn't play much last year after getting hurt a couple times. But yeah, if we can keep the ball in Richardson's hands, we'll be all right. Um, but yeah, I mean, for me, that about does our coverage of the Bears loss to the
Yeah, the
Houston.
Bears lost to the Houston Texans. I mean, seriously, I don't know where we'd be without our defense. That's kind of the overarching theme of this is yes, Caleb's doing bad, but there's more factors at play. And without our defense, I don't know where we would be truly. Like we might without our
Yeah,
defense, we're 0-2 right now. And we'd be 0-2 with
100%.
2 pretty shitty losses. One to a
Yeah,
bottom 5 team as well. So
yeah, yeah. So if you're brand new here, hit the like button, leave a comment. Hey, we want to start answering some of your guys' questions. So if you have
sure, we
some,
could do a little Q&A segment.
throw them in the
So
comments. We'll read
13.
them in the next episode. That's it.
We'll catch you in the next
Episode
one.
13 in the books. Catch us in 14. For Steve, aka Bronx,
I'm Matt, aka Nemo, signing off. Thank you for tuning in. Have a good one.